Well, it is a guilty verdict for Hunter Biden in the gun trial. Jury has convicted the son of U.S. President Joe Biden for lying about drug use to purchase a firearm 6 years ago. A 12-member jury in Wilmington, Delaware, unanimously found Biden Jr., that is, guilty on all 3 counts of felony, making him the first ever child of a sitting U.S. president to be convicted of a crime. The judge is yet to set a date for sentencing. Legally, the timeline to pronounce a punishment is 120 days, which in Hunter Biden's case will come much before the November 5th presidential elections. The trial, which began last week in Delaware's federal court, saw witnessed testimonies from Hunter Biden's ex-wife, former girlfriend, and sister-in-law. The 3 women gave first-hand details of Hunter's addiction issues in the weeks before and after he purchased a gun in October 2018. All right, let's talk about what this means for U.S. President Joe Biden and also Hunter Biden. And joining us now is our correspondent Susan Teherani from New York. Hi, Susan. Joe Biden had pledged on Tuesday to respect the judicial process. I'll actually read a statement or a quote from him. He said, "I am the president, but I'm also a dad. So many families who have had loved ones battle addiction understand the feeling of pride, seeing someone you love come out of the other side and be so strong and resilient in recovery." If you talk about the case, whose setback is it greatly for? Is it Joe Biden or is it Hunter Biden?
Hunter Biden's actions, when you look back, really has affected almost everyone around him. And while there is a sense of sympathy for families that are dealing with addiction in one way or the other, this is the first family. It was the vice president's family prior to that. And ultimately, because Joe Biden is running for president, then of course anything that happens to his immediate family may affect him. But, we have to leave sort of the option of Americans that have already made up their mind open, that this will not really impact them moving forward in the election as we get closer to it. However, the latest polling said that there is about 2% of Democrats who are on the fence and were watching this trial to see, whether or not they'll be casting a vote for Joe Biden or not because of his son's actions. But again, this is a close race. 2% is a tiny number, but again, it could prove to be very important. But ultimately, the White House and the Biden campaign are going to be the one that are most worried, because Hunter is going to appeal this on the one hand. On the other hand, we saw that the judge said he will ultimately put out a verdict down the line, which we don't know when that is. But another very important issue to point out to is that on September 5th, Hunter Biden has a tax trial coming up as well. So that'll just be, a couple of months before the November election. So we'll have to also see how that impacts the whole campaign. So this is the first one. He has another one coming up as well.
Susan, you did mention that Hunter Biden is seeking or considering to appeal this case. And also, President Joe Biden did say that he will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process. He also said that he will not pardon his son. What happens next?
Well, what happens next is we'll have to wait and see how they want to appeal this case. On the one hand, the Hunter Biden team. But on the other hand, Joe Biden has mentioned that, but he's also, dealing with a district judge in Delaware that has a lot of discretion. So necessarily, Joe Biden may not have to pardon Hunter Biden if this judge really gives more of a favorable ultimate verdict to Hunter Biden. Many experts believe because it's a first-time offender, it was a non-violent offense, he's definitely not going to be paying the fines, which is upwards of $250,000, at least not completely, and then that 25-year prison sentence that everyone is concerned about, it's very likely that he'll serve that amount as well. Whether or not President Biden will ultimately change his mind or not, he has before in other instances. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
All right, I've been talking to our correspondent Susan Teherani in New York. Susan, thank you. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.